Hello, back with another run here. This is a 5-mask Horrific Vision full clear. It is an Orgrimmar this week. What I have done is I have made an equipment set here that has no corruption at all. It's 0 corruption, and it's artificially lowered my gear score a bit down to 469. Don't want to be relying on just like being too geared for the content. I put on whatever I had that was lower, easy peasy. Even if it wasn't optimal stats, no worries. Same talents as before, my normal talents for Demon Hunter that I like to run, especially for Horrific Vision. Rarely change that. I am just going to eat normal versatility food. I'm not going to use any ghastly goulash this time. And we'll see how it goes. I don't actually know how it goes. I have not run anything with this set. I will flask. I'm not going to put on a rune. I think I have my 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And here we go. Let's see how it goes for us. I'm not sure how it is going to go, but that's alright. So the result of having lower gear and no Twilight Dev is I'll just do smaller pulls. I'll try and always be moving, but I can't just pull the whole room and burn them down with the Twilight Dev proc. So I'm gonna just make the most of my AoE and do slightly smaller pulls and just do them quicker. I'm not gonna go looking for any crystals yet. I'm just gonna try and cruise through as fast as I can.
It's too far away.
These guys, I'm watching for Break Spirit. It's a really good Bell Nova situation. Sorry, Chaos Nova, excuse me. Interrupt those double fears. Now I have my interrupt for his next fear, right here. I let him cast it for a bit. If you interrupt it right away, then he starts hitting you again, so I like to let him cast it for a little bit. I'm going to deal with these guys first. This guy has the nice 10% damage buff, which will come in super handy here. Very nice. Same for these guys. I always try and grab whatever mobs I want to deal with. Run to the ranged one if there is one, and then just try and beam them down. Works even better if you have Twilight Dev, but if not, Demon Hunters have inherently great AoE, not a problem. Naros, this guy's a little annoying. When he hits you, he heals himself back up. So I don't interrupt Forge Breath, I just dodge it, because if he's casting, he's not hitting me. I try and keep him stunned as long as I can. I used Fell Eruption there, now I'm going to use Chaos Nova. Easy peasy, not much to say about this guy. Dodge the breath. It's a nice 10% damage from all sources buff. It's very helpful, especially on a Demon Hunter. I'm going to quickly check what potion is bad. So red is bad. I will drink everything but red that I come across. I'm not going to go out of my way for them right now, but I am going to keep an eye out for them.
Champions, we've been needing your help.
You don't need to I-beam on this mob. I do because I run Vision of Perfection. That reduces the cooldown on Metamorphosis down from 5 minutes to 3 minutes. So I Metamorphosis here anyway, so you can afford to use your I-beam there. I also run Chaotic Transformation, which resets the cooldown on my I-beam and my Death Sweep when I use Metamorphosis. So I'm just dodging the Decimator, especially on the way back. That's when you will lose sanity. Everything else is just an annoyance. Not much to say about this guy. Easy sanity. We go on to the harder area here. I'm using I-beam on cooldown. We want to make the most out of our demonic talent. I do have the lead foot madness here. Just stop to drop them off. If you cannot afford to stop moving to let the stacks fall off, you can use Vengeful Retreat to drop the stacks. So if I stack up here a bunch, just Vengeful Retreat, it clears my stacks for me. Very useful. So there is no chest over here, so I'm not going to deal with those mobs at all. We do, however, have to deal with these mobs. Our NPC is going to attack them anyway if we try and walk past. There she goes. So nothing you can do about it, no worries there. We're on the Dominator first. It has a targeted 4 or 5 second stun, which can punish you if things are going south in a hurry. So watch for that. We always focus the Dominator, and we have our interrupt ready, either in the form of disrupt or a stun or an AoE stun. 3 options. I always just want to slightly move out of the way, but never back to where I was. Just avoiding burn bridge, super easy. So for this guy, I do want to have my eye beam if possible. So I'm just going to wait a second here. I can drink this blue potion. Red is the bad one. There's an add-on to track it I've talked about many times. Highly recommend. I do often forget what they are, but anyway, I feel like my screen's already covered in things. It's neither here nor there. All I'm doing is using E-strafe to dodge to the side of these. If things are going crazy, you can always dodge. If you press Q and Fell Dash, I believe it's called Fell Dash, what's it called? Fell Rush, excuse me. If you press a directional key and Fell Rush, it will go in that direction. So if I'm here and I'm looking to this way and I go like this, it'll go to the side instead of forward. So helpful if you want to keep facing that mini boss while dodging his mean pink circles. So highly recommend. Should be very comfortable moving on your character, your class. Demon Hunters in particular are disgustingly mobile. So you want to be able to use that to your advantage, of course. So normally I would pull these together. Don't have any Twilight Dive or anything, so I'm just gonna. However, I did get a Gift of the Titans proc, so now I am gonna pull them. I'm gonna try and move not too much, get these up, the burrowing appendages, so I can stun them. They won't burrow if they're stunned. Do as much damage as I can before they burrow again. There's 3 of them right now, and they're staggered, so it's a little harder to deal with, but that's okay. Just AoE. This black, the burned bridge really is only a problem if you stop in it for a while. It takes a second or two to actually proc, so just you can move through it. Like right here, I'll dash through it. It didn't go off there. There's another crystal in here. I'm going to grab it quick. Got the crystals for the area. I will always pop Immolation Aura to start right before I pull a boss or a mini boss, and that is because it gives you an initial burst of fury, but also a bit of fury over time, and so that'll allow me to instantly start the fight with an eye beam, which procs my Furious Gaze, which gives me haste. That's an Azurite trait. I've never been bounced this far down. I'm really glad he didn't reset on me. He's dealt with now, and we got a Gift of the Titan proc, so we're going to fly over as fast as we can. We're going to jump right into this man. This boss is super easy. We stand right on top of him. When he casts Defiled Ground, we just move a little to the side with E strafe. Super easy. Unleash Corruption, same thing, only as far as we need to go. Space is limited, so just as far as we need to go and no further when possible. Defiled Ground. I should have dodged faster, but I was greedy and tried to get my eye beam off, and now I'm paying the iron price, as I deserve to. That was excuse me, whatever his Doom Beam, Defiled Ground into a Haunting Shadows. But that's my own fault. I was greedy there, and I wanted to get the full eye beam off. So, if you can afford the sanity, go for it, but that could easily have been quickly going south for me. Grabbing this chest here. I didn't before because of the Gift of the Titans proc. We always want to kill what we can, especially when we fight bosses. If I had eaten that Defiled Ground, for example, with my Gift proc, it wouldn't have even lost me any sanity. So, good to know. I'm going to go into this easier area, and I'm going to eat a kebab here. The reason I don't eat it in the more difficult area I was just in is the sanity per second loss is less punishing. Don't be scared by your Scorched Feet. It will only proc when you actually move. So now that I'm moving, it can proc. There it goes. But if you're sitting still, you're fine. And you can also use that to your advantage. So I'll sit still unless I have to. These berserkers are annoying. I can cancel out the fire jump, the forced fire jump with a glide of my own as a demon hunter. Very strong. I'm looking for the mob here that gives me a buff. He's not there. That's okay. I like to pull these mobs together. I just am going to I-beam them here. Easy peasy. I am also going to AoE stun them. 2 reasons. Interrupt stops them from moving so I can line them up. And actually it will drop a bunch of souls. And if you are running the Azurite trait, Eyes of Rage I believe it's called, every soul you pick up, the little purple souls on the ground that pop, Chaos Nova right there, that soul, will reduce the cooldown on your I-beam by 0.7 seconds, which is incredibly useful because they do drop rather frequently. Oh, that's unlucky. You just turn around and you can use your glide to counteract the bump if you go in a direction you don't like. But generally we try and use it to our advantage. It will go whichever way you're moving, so you can use that to your advantage, but it is a little harder on the thin ledge of that boardwalk there. The Endless Hunger Totem has to be focused down. I didn't realize there was one there. It's my own fault. That's alright. Grab this quick. We can skip these mobs entirely, so we don't have to pull them yet. I'm just going to grab this chest. The Berserkers here will they heal up whenever they hit you, so I always try and stun them. They're still going to get some hits off, it's just annoying, but it is just something to be aware of. And that's why they're healing up. If you're ever like, why are these Berserkers so tanky? It's because they're healing up when they hit you. I'm just going to skip these guys completely. Right on to the boss here. Always start with an Immolation Aura into an I-beam. We get a huge haste buff when we proc our demon form from I-beam. Furious Gaze. Very useful, and haste is great. Here I'm just waiting for Hopelessness. I used my fire bump there to boot me through the Hopelessness orb so I could get it back. If you don't move, you can basically just sit on it and save your Scorched Feet proc, and it can help you. I was just looking for a chest there. I believe I got both crystals for the area, and we're out of here. We can have a 200 sanity window here. I'm slowed, so I'm just going to spam whatever I can. Any spell works. Now I'm sped up again. I like to pull both these mobs at once. I beam them down. When I'm in demon form, all my stuff, everything hits as chaos damage, and it's essentially all AoE. It's very strong. There's a crystal here, so I'm going to just deal with all these mobs now. This might be a little sketchy, but it should be okay. I'm going to start by Chaos Novaing everyone, stunning them, I-beam them because they're all in place. I'm focusing the Shaman for 2 reasons. He's the only ranged, so you can interrupt him and pull him, but he's the one who spawns that annoying totem that pulls you, so I like to just deal with him first when I can. Really I'm just moving around a bit to stay out of the shockwave, and to stay out of the poop I'm dropping on the ground. That's the only reason I'm moving. Nothing to worry about there. I'm going to go collect this crystal right here. I have 1 for the area now. I'm slowed again. Now I'm sped up. I just popped Fade there. It's a 1-minute cooldown. I probably shouldn't need it for this next little area. I'm going to unlock this, and then I'm going to eat. I'm not going to eat. I shouldn't have eaten. I have a 2-minute window. Alright, not a 2-minute window. I have a sanity window. I should not have eaten it. That's okay. I forgot about our Annihilator Lekal there, even though I just mentioned him. Nothing to worry about there. Let's do understand. And be on our way. No worries. And we got a great Gift of the Titans proc to make up for it. You could use Metamorphosis here. Generally this guy's not too bad. I like to make sure I have it for the last boss in this area. It's super annoying. Yeah, I don't like fighting him, so I'll use it for that guy. That's why I'm not popping Metamorphosis here. The transformations from my I-beam should be plenty to kill this guy. pretty sure the bad potion is red, but I'm struggling to remember. That's why I recommend the add-on, but it's neither here nor there. I'm going to check this corner for a crystal, and I'm going to pop this because it gives us a very nice crit buff. I have Scorched Feet right now, but if I don't move, it's not going to actually pop. You can also jump and it won't proc it, but now that I'm moving again, I'm going to grab that blue potion in a minute up the side here. I'm focusing the Dominator, interrupt Touch of Abyss if it's going to go off. It's a 4-second stun, I believe, which is very uncomfortable. I pulled the next mob with my butt, that's okay. Just AoE him down while dodging the burrowing appendage. If you want to stop the appendage from burrowing, you just stun it. So they burrow when there's no one in melee range for them to hit, when you're not in melee range for them to hit, but they will not burrow if you stun them. I'm close enough, I'm just going to grab this potion here.
Let's move along.
There's another one here. I can grab it later, but I shouldn't need it. A chest can spawn in here and in here, so I'm going to check both these buildings. I do this one first. That mob won't attack you until you attack him, the one that comes out of the building. A crystal spawns here, chest here, nothing. That's okay. Now we go check this one. We can pull this guy with us if we want. No crystal, no chest, no worries, we're out of here. We already do have one crystal for the area. I like to pull him over to the Dominator here. Those two things are unrelated. Interrupt the... So I can use... Your interrupt will cancel your I-beam, but it's better to lose that second of I-beam and the Furious Gaze than it is to eat the 4-second stun that Dominator's bringing. So always try and have an interrupt ready. It would have been better if I had just stunned him beforehand and then went into I-beam. Would have been the smarter play there. That's okay, no worries. Open this up, and I'm looking for a crystal in here. On this wall, nothing, that's okay. So the crystal must be in this last building after the boss. We'll go check it out in a sec. After we do this, there's like a second of RP. We just like go looking for potions and stuff that are useful. I haven't been stacking any potions, so I'm wary to drink them because I don't want them to pop off in 5 minutes and give me a hard time when I'm fighting my boy Rexxar, because he can be a bit challenging. If you were below, I don't know, a reasonable amount of sanity, I would recommend eating your kebab before this boss. I'm going to Metamorphosis over as soon as Void Horn's done. Metamorphosis should be up again by the time I see Rexxar. So I'm in a bad spot here. I'm just going to try and dodge them. Spooky stuff. Don't recommend. Either just hide behind here, or stand far enough away you can just like run in a straight line like this. Oh well, he stopped casting it. Oh wait, he started casting it again. Wait, I've been had. Anyway, yeah. Do not recommend the dodging strategy. Those projectiles move in like a weird staggered speed, and it's very unchill. Here's a crystal, last crystal, we got 2 for the area, beautiful. We're on to our next area, we're full sanity, and the first mob in the next area gives us 200 sanity anyway, so if we were a little less we wouldn't be too worried and you wouldn't have to eat a kebab yet. If you are less than 200 sanity, like 375 or less, I would attack Misha alone. Otherwise, I recommend pulling the Bone Crusher as well and killing them together. You just get a little more bang for your buck on your sanity, because otherwise, yeah, these guys just die and that's it. Misha has 2 things that will lose sanity for you. That AoE circle that I just moved out of, and the green circles on the ground are what I'm worried about. Everything else is okay. These guys explode when they get low enough. You have 2 options. 3 options. You can stun them, you can do enough damage to just continue finishing them off, or you can just simply walk out of the circle. 3 options, easy peasy. Here's our first crystal for the area. I'm gonna grab this. Mount up. I only ever kill these mobs if there's a chest that spawns there. It is not there. You don't have to wait for anything once it actually opens. You just go. We skip the bridge because it, sorry, that was a weird camera movement, because it spawns little scarabs that we don't want to deal with. This guy should be interrupted. He can also be stunned, both single target, AoE, he can be feared. Lots of ways to deal with him. I'm going to keep killing these guys. Grab this chest. Sometimes there's useful potions here. Just be warned, these guys also spawn scarabs if you get too close. Got my 2 crystals for the area, and we're good to go. This guy will give us 200 sanity. I'm just moving to the side when Toxic Breath's coming to dodge that. You don't actually have to dodge it. You must dodge Toxic Volley. That actually costs you sanity. If you incidentally dodge the breath, it's good. Not required. The volleys we have to move out of. I recommend if you're having trouble, put your camera over top of your character like this and look down on them, and you can easily see the open spots there. The safe places. Easy peasy. So that's all there is to that. For these guys, focus the Swarm Leader. You can stun the Bone Crusher. The reason we target the Swarm Leader is he does Poison Sting, and it's a 3-second stun, like that. Can be very punishing. The Bone Crusher also has Toxic Breath, not really a worry. It's more his headbutt if you get knocked into this area or into Rexxar. If you position yourself here and the Bone Crusher here and he knocks you into the eggs, you don't go anywhere. So can be very helpful if you're having trouble. I'm going to pretend I don't have an orb here. Yeah, because things might be going south. You might only have 1 left and you want to save her for Thrall. I'm just going to artificially pretend I don't have an orb. I do have food on cooldown though, so use that. How Rexxar works, we get him to 80%, and then he starts to pop out his little boar friends. This can be sketchy if you have Twilight Dev, because it can pop into 80 right away. So these guys knock you back a bit. We're going to interrupt there, and then we're going to focus the boar down. If he gets 1 Void Quill off, that's okay. We're moving out of our fear there with Strafe. This time we're single target stunning the boar. Burn him down, focus him again. It's okay if he gets 1 Void Quill off, you can afford 1 usually. This next one's the hardest one. We're going to target this one and imprison it, and then we're going to walk over here. The imprison did not work. I'm still fighting it apparently, so I'm going to try and move out of the sanity. I'm going to AoE stun them, and I'm going to just try and burn Thrall here. I would not recommend this. I should just be killing these guys. I'm going to go back to this. I'm interrupting this. Oh my goodness, what have I done? I'm dodging the things on the ground. I got Gift of the Titans. I'm just going to burn Thrall. I could also pop Metamorphosis here. I got a Gift of the Titans proc, but would highly recommend not fighting that like I just did, but sometimes it does get a little sloppy in the visions. What I was trying to do is when the 2 boars came out, I wanted to use Imprison on one of them, but I guess they were already being hit by me, or I accidentally hit them right after, and I instantly broke it, and then it all went loose. I should have just casually Chaos Nova'd 1, burned 1 while interrupting it, and then turned on to the last one. And I also could have done a better job dodging the mechanics in general. I'm pretty sure I almost ran into his trap there. I wasn't dodging the people on the ground very effectively, and I also didn't use Metamorphosis. Yikes. But still got him down. Had worse, I suppose. I'm just looking for crystals now. I want to try and do this in sped up mode. There we go. I just popped Immolation Aura. I just spam spells till I get fast time. Here's my second crystal. I'm pretty sure I got all 10, but we're about to see. I've been pretty sure about that before and absolutely not got 10, so we'll see what happens. I might have a horrific vision pop. That's fine. I do try and always have an orb for Thrall, and recommend doing the same. I would consider doing this run, pretend you only have 2 orbs, because 1 must go to Thrall. But to be fair, Thrall is not as punishing as Illyria. Illyria, it is not optional to have an orb. You must have an orb. But Thrall, I just highly recommend having an orb. Apparently I'm in combat. Perfect Figment, that makes sense. Same thing here, I'm going to stand on the wall. For this one, imprison 1. Pull the other ones. I just taunted him is how I pulled this guy. I'm not even interrupting because I'm standing in my orb. I am, however, moving out of defiled ground. That will be unfortunate if it hits me. You'll notice I forgot to switch into... Oh, wait, no, never mind. I'm so used to doing Twilight Dev. I was going to say I forgot to switch into my my Infinite Stars, but I didn't. Anyway, neither here nor there. I'm just holding him facing the outside of the wall so that if he hits me with Defiled Ground at me like this, it poops on the outside of the room, not on the inside of the room, so I don't run out of real estate. After this, I'm going to Metamorphosis. I would recommend doing it on cooldown. I've been very sloppy with my cooldowns. That's okay. Always try and stand in this if you can, but don't sacrifice sanity for it. I did not break that. I dashed because I was going to eat that Defiled Ground. It was greedy of me to try and get that I-beam. Boss is easy. It's not really a DPS check, it's simply a mechanic check. Defiled Ground, just use Q or E to strafe slightly out of the way. Keep them facing the outside of the room. Pick up your hopelessness quickly. Always facing the outside, slightly to the side for Defiled Ground. Have them poop beside you. I-beam on cooldown. Move into your circle if possible, but now he's going to Defiled Ground into the middle of the room, so that probably wasn't my best work. Probably want to avoid that one, but that's alright. Yeah, this boss is easy peasy. Illyria is very difficult by comparison. But yeah, as long as you're doing a solid amount of damage, that was still 58k per second, but Mother's talents also give you a bunch of bonus damage, especially if you're running solo, so that's artificially enhanced as well. So 469 equipped right now. I wasn't running any corruption at all. It's not showing up. I didn't actually realize it stopped showing up if you took it all off. I thought it would just say 0, 0, but neither here nor there. So that is the run without relying on Twilight Dev or anything like that. Hopefully you learned something useful, and please let me know if you have any questions, comments, concerns, and thank you for watching.